What is up, everyone? We are back. Episode 4. Man, we're going for a record here. I haven't done a series this long since Skyforge. But, alright. Episode 4 starts out right again where we left off. You find out the team is running from the destruction. They kind of decided to, like, we need to get out of town. Uh, Somehow they remember that their names are at this inn that they were staying at is in a leisure, so they're like, hey, let's go to this inn and let's break in and not break in, but let's sneak in and like steal the ledger and kind of like change their names so it's not obvious where they were. I think personally that they were kind of looking too deep into it and they should have just left out of town. But, that's, the thorough people do thorough jobs and whatever. Anyway, as they're going heading to this inn, you find out that Spunk's skin gets dry when he's out of water for too long. I guess that grung habit is that grung racial perks, whatever. Grung get dry. Grung get dry. The group tries to find out what to do next, leave or help. Christopher is still with them. Christopher is still with them. He actually wants to be a hero too. Spunk is so funny because like he's yeah, Christopher can be a hero too. He tries, but Christopher's just an NPC. Spunk kind of soaks in the. They find like a watering fountain, a little fountain, and while the group talks, Spunk soaks. And he pointed out a good point. Why do healers wear all white when they have when they work with blood so much? Horrible, horrible idea. So they find the inn and they go in and Ferric decides that he's going to play music to distract everybody while Mirage is sneaking to steal the ledger. Ferric starts singing and he's like talking about the dragon, making sure everybody knows the dragon's name is Pharaoh. He goes on and on. He's actually like dissing Pharaoh a lot. Mirage doesn't do so well with the sneaking part, even though he was like, "Hey, I'm a good sneaker. I can do this." Um, but Ferric ends up doing so well that it helps out Mirage a lot. Ferric meets this lady called Nora who wants to get inside his owl bear bones. So he he quickly like sidesteps her. Like, no, I'm not interested. But Ferric has that charm. They come off as very irresistible. Eventually, the group splits up into like you find out they have rooms. They already had rooms here for each pairing, so they split up to go to their rooms to stay for the night. Mirage did successfully change the ledger. He just changed some of the names around, and this is where we get into like a lot of what's going on and who does what. Ferric and Spunk didn't actually talk much. Spunk does not believe in Christopher at all. He's just like, man, that man got no potential to be a hero, and Christopher really wants to be a hero. That was his whole deal. But Spunk's just like, man, that man could be a cobbler or work with wood or something. That man, he said something, but he was like, that, with the people who work with shoes, a cobbler. Yeah, he could be a cobbler. He got real good cobbler potential. He don't got hero potential though, which was funny. Um, Spunk knew Mirage had a fake beard the whole time, so I'm thinking who else knew. So, yeah, Ambrose, Spunk and Ferric actually They were like, "Hey, do we have to share any of our deep dark secrets with each other?" And Ferric was like, "Nah, let's not do that." And then so Spunk kind of nodded his head and agreed. Ambrose has a talk with Evangeline about trying to kill that man, the priest. Uh, Pickles talks to Miraz about lying to her. And God, I was scared of Pickles in this moment because, like, I felt like, oh man, you have upset the wrong person. Because she was like, "Do you think I'm stupid? Do you?" Like, no. Um, Pickles being mad at you is she. I don't want to call her petty because it's way too early to call her petty. But her being mad at you is like just that mother that's like gonna hold that grudge at you and like, oh, see, I told you to do what I said type thing. It's just like, I don't know. I just, that Pickles being mad at me just kind of like activates something from my childhood that my mom is like mad at me. And I'm just like, okay. Well, but you find out that Pickles' real name is Serena. And she's not mad at Mirage for like pretending to be somebody else or whatever. She's mad at him for traveling with her for like 3-4 months and he never told her like, hey, I'm in disguise. And he's like, oh, you think I'm stupid, but whatever. Yeah, Evangeline has Poppet back. That kind of just happened. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention there or like I missed that, but she was just like with Poppet all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I missed that, but it's Poppet's back, so familiar. Spunk starts screaming at the top of his lungs. Really good job from Tyrell. Like, I love when characters have little quirks that they kind of stick with, but Spunk has night terrors about something. Um, as Spunk does go to sleep, the team starts to have like everybody in the team starts to have dreams. Spunk has one. This light bulb type thing comes to him, and he starts asking him like, "Are you a hero?" Spunk instantly is like, "I'm not a hero. I'm kind of a leader of heroes." And the light bulb's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's I guess that's good." And Spunk's like, "I got 5 potential heroes, so hopefully that works out." So the light bulb thing was like, okay, well, I just need you to remember one thing. I need you to remember one thing, Spunk, and it's the Rock of Bristol. Bristol. Spunk never says it right. He tried it like 10 times, and I think the last time he said it right. But that's how that dream ended. Ferric has a dream about Zorla. Zorla comes to him in the dream, just kind of like announcing themselves, and Ferric just eventually acknowledges them. Ambrose has a dream that he's in the sand and he runs up on this guy named Bertan. Now, Bertan, he just wants Ambrose to follow his gut when the time comes. What does that mean? I don't know. But, we'll find out. Pickles and Miraz have a dream together. They're in a prison cell. And as they look across from the prison cell, they see another prison cell that's on fire and there's a little girl in it. And she starts calling out to them, help me, please. He's coming back, blah, blah, blah. So Pickles is trying to get to this person, but they can't get to her. And then they eventually, they're just unsuccessful. I don't remember if they woke up or not, but I think they could have woke up. Evangeline meets the prince. I got in my notes somewhere that where was my? I got in my notes somewhere that Carlos is really good at voices. But Evangeline meets the prince. We find out that the prince gave her Poppet, so not her familiar, a gift. So that's pretty cool. The prince has been watching them. The prince doesn't like Ambrose because apparently the prince sent Evangeline to this place to get the soul. Or it could have just been any soul. It could have just been like Evangeline thought this guy was worth sacrificing to the prince. But the prince collects souls that Angeline sends to him. So, and that's what she was doing. But Ambrose kind of stopped her from doing that. So the prince was like, hey, if that happens again, you kill that man. And Evangeline was just kind of like, oh, okay. And, you know, as they walked away, you just kind of noticed like a somber look on her face, like, oh man, like maybe what have I gotten myself into? But the prince seemed to be like some type of deity that collects souls. I mean, if you've seen Princess and the Frog, you know how that goes. So that might not be pretty. But that is where it ends with the request of the death of Ambrose if he gets in the way again. So that episode, like, a lot of information happened. The characters do like a lot of like lore dropping, like a couple of little nuggets. I've been saying that a lot, but a couple of little nuggets of lore. I don't like how they were like, we got to get out of town, but first let's go to an inn. I think that was immediate, like, run out of town type thing. Not like, let's get a long rest in first and then leave town. So that was kind of a little off-putting, but it wasn't anything too big. When they split up into the groups and they went into their own rooms, and the thing about having a big group is like you want everybody to have their own time. You want everybody to be able to shine a little bit. And I feel like Carlos does a good job of jumping back and forth. I don't know how they do this. I've always wondered how Power Word Fail does time management between scenes. Like when Cody does the editing for the audio. So I just kind of like, are they all talking over? Because playing D&D is already hard, but playing D&D online is even harder because you're not aware when people, which I think they play with cameras on. But just knowing when people are going to talk and not talking over somebody and not just being, loud during somebody's scene. They tend to do a really good job of, you get 5 minutes of screen time and you get 5 minutes of screen time and then you get 5 minutes of screen time. So that seems to have been going well. And then it seems like they don't talk over each other. So I just it kind of makes you wonder how much of that stuff is planned, how much of that stuff is like thought out, how much of it is just them being really good at what they do. So I know, like, if anybody watches Critical Role, like, Critical Role always gets blamed for having a script. But I personally don't think they have a script. I think they're just really good in, like, not talking over each other. And Carlos is a really good DM of, like, let's go back here and we'll get to you in a minute and let's go there. So I do really appreciate that splitting off between groups and having that one-on-one time with everybody. So that was really good. So anyway, I mean, that's all I really got to say about this episode. It was still good. Episode 4. 4 is almost 40, right? So, but I will definitely give this, that's what I was doing, but I'm going to give this episode 8 hit dice out of 10. Just because I didn't like the choice to stay in the inn after they were like, we got to get out of town because our names, blah, blah, blah. It's like, where's the urgency there? I'm starting to see that Carlos loves ending things on cliffhangers. Like, come on, man. So if you're not a fan of cliffhangers, like, you buckle up because cliffhangers all day. But it is still great. I think maybe an 8 is too low. So I could definitely go like 9 hit dice out of 10. But show's still great. Everybody should watch it. I'm having a blast re-listening to this. You got any questions, comments, or concern? Leave them in the comments section. Just like and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Apparently, if you don't say that, people don't subscribe. But I just want to talk about my show, talk about your show. Let's do that. But anyway, as always, you matter, you're important, and you are loved. Friendo, you have a good night. Bye.